Right, Mark, what is tip number 2, please?
So tip number 2 is to use non-verbal gestures for better behaviour management.
Oh, tell me more. You've intrigued me straight away here.
I'm going to give you 7 reasons why I think students respond much better to non-verbal gestures rather than being told explicitly. And I think that this is something that I've posted about before, I've tweeted about this, and it's gathered a real lot of attention. And for me, it's something that I just always assumed was a bit of a no-brainer, that the less that you have to talk as a teacher is a good thing. So the first thing is that it saves your voice. And I know as we're coming towards the end of the year, that's a really important thing as a teacher. I know when I get to this stage of the year, I start to get increasingly croaky. So on a very practical level, just putting your finger to your lips instead of having to say, "Can you please be quiet?" is saving your vocal cords. The second thing is it stops you from disrupting the flow of your explanations, or if you're reading aloud or something. So say, for example, today I was reading to my Year 8 class, noticed that a couple of students were just having a tiny little off-task little giggle at each other, very low-key, but I could kind of give them the signal, look down at your thing, and I could carry on reading at the same time. So it's really seamless, and it stops me from having to add that kind of cognitive load of stopping the rest of the class to tell someone off. The other thing is that it doesn't draw attention to those particular students. If I just said the 2 students' names, "Be quiet," immediately it brings attention to them. And some students like that attention because it brings them the kind of kudos of the social rewards of being shown that you're messing around. So it takes away the opportunity to do that. Which also, the next reason is it avoids any kind of conflict. You know, you're always picking on me, you're always, saying I'm doing stuff wrong. And I know there's a few students that I teach that if I said to them, "Can you stop doing that?" it would immediately get their backs up. But if I just kind of give them a look, or if I kind of point to say, "Sit down," or something like that, immediately it reduces that sense of confrontation. Now, the other thing is, and I think this is massive for teachers, is it's proactive, it's preventative. So rather than allowing things to escalate and getting to the stage where I've got to start giving out warnings and demerits and so on, it enables me to do something in a way that's nipping something in the bud without really anybody else noticing immediately. And the next part of that is that it really can reduce your stress levels. You can be really calm by not having to raise your voice. You might kind of raise the intensity of your stare when you give them that look, things like that, but it's something that a lot of the research that I've read around teacher well-being shows that proactive gestures can really cut out this sense of stress and anxiety that we feel when we get into that kind of conflict situation. And the final reason is that these signals are pretty much universally understood. So there's not really that issue around, am I saying something in a potentially sarcastic tone? Have I said something that comes across as a bit snappy? Instead, if I turn my fingers around like that to say, "Sit down," it's obvious what I'm saying, and they all understand it. So yeah, 7 reasons why you should use those non-verbals.
I love it. I love anything like this. These little kind of micro tips and tips within tips. I absolutely love this. Right up my street. This. So again, Same thing. Kind of one observation here. The flow thing isn't something I'd considered before, but you're absolutely right. There is nothing worse than when you're mid-flow through an explanation, or a student's given a response and then you have to stop because somebody's messing around, and then you've then got to try and reset and think where you're at, and you've lost a load of the kids, and it's so annoying. So this non-verbal, I absolutely love that. Now, the thing I was going to say is, so I record these interviews, we put these out as an audio podcast, and we also chop them up as videos and put them as videos. I'm always trying to push more people to the videos, so this is a perfect opportunity. Give us some of the best gestures here, Mark. So this is, for the benefit of the podcast listeners, you're going to have to watch the video on this. What are some of the big hitters? So you've done the kind of turn around one.
Turn around,
I like that, yeah.
Shush is obviously
classic,
well known. You've also got the kind of settle down
gesture. That's good, I like it.
You should be reading now.
Oh, nice.
You should be writing now. You've also got the kind of the finger wag. Should not be doing that. And then also you can do the kind of like referee, get a move on kind of
good.
signal.
Yes.
Come here. Those kind of
Nice.
things. So that's the ones that kind of come to mind. And then of course the classic, the teacher stare.
I love it. I absolutely love those. So podcast listeners will have to hop on the video to see the full range of those. I also love, just a final point here, Mark, the fact that it almost, again, I've never considered this before till you've just mentioned it, the fact that you can be more consistent with these non-verbal ones, because there's not that change in either the tone of your voice, the pitch, the volume of your voice. So you can, I mean, we're always told with behaviour that consistency is a really important thing. You deliver these signals in the same way to every single child. So it's not the case that sometimes you're a bit more tired, you're in a bad mood yourself, so you lose it a bit more. It's always the same. That feels like it's a really important part of this.
Yeah.
Fantastic.